Hey everybody, it's Adam, live and in person for you. Hey everybody, it's Adam, wonder who he'll interview. Call me Adam.com.
Hey everyone, it's Adam, and I am so excited to be catching up with one of my entertainment idols, Drama Desk and Grammy nominee Adam Jacobs, whom I have not spoken with since 2021. You know Adam for taking us on a magical carpet ride when he originated the role of Aladdin on Broadway. Now, Adam is getting ready to star in the off Broadway world premiere musical of Monte Cristo, a musical adaptation of Alexandre Dumas's beloved novel. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Rothenberg, and for the past 17 years, I have been going behind the scenes with celebrities from the world of film, television, theater, and music. With over 2,300 interviews under my belt, I make my guests feel comfortable and at ease, which allows us to talk about life behind the curtain. So without further ado, please welcome the man who can show us the world, the one, the only, Adam Jacobs.
Hey, Adam.
Hi, Adam. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to catch up on because we have not spoken since 2021.
I know, lots happened since then, for sure.
Yes, but we need to start things off by talking about the world premiere musical that you are about to star in, Monte Cristo, at
Yeah.
the York Theater Company. So I have to ask, how did this show come your way?
Well, I received a phone call from director Peter Flynn, who I worked with on another historical World War II piece at the Kennedy Center and in New York. And we really enjoyed working together on that. And he called me up and said, I'm working on this adaptation of Monte Cristo, and I think you would be really good for the role of Edmund Dante, the Count. And I said, "Oh, I'm very flattered. Thank you for thinking of me." And then we looked at the material. I looked it over and read it and the music, and I thought, yeah, this looks like something would have fun doing. And then, of course, he told me some of the other people in the cast, Sierra Boggess and Norm Lewis, who I did Les Mis with. So, we're no strangers to that post-Napoleonic time period in France. So we're going to dust off those cravats and we're going to get ready to do Monte Cristo. So it should be fun.
Well, speaking of Sierra and Norm Lewis, what are you
Yeah.
looking forward to most about working with them again?
I mean, they're just such great energy. I actually just saw Sierra down at Epcot at the Festival of the Arts, where we were both performing. And we weren't in the same show, but we still were able to see each other there, and we're very excited to start working on this project. And Norm, he's just an iconic performer, and I got to see him briefly when I was staying on the Upper West Side during my time with Tommy on Broadway, playing Captain Walker, and he lives near where I was staying, so I was able to see him there, and so it's just great to be able to work with people who I respect their work and love their work ethic, and they're just generally awesome people. So and fun, super fun to be around, and that's what really drew me to this project.
And I cannot believe that I did not get to see you in Tommy because I saw the original in 1994 and it is literally one of my all-time favorite musicals. So I
Yeah,
apologize for missing you.
it's all right. I'll forgive you.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, and as you mentioned when you were talking about how the show came your way, you are playing the title role of Edmund. So what
Yes.
do you relate to most about him?
I would say I hold grudges, but that's not necessarily true. The story of love and romance and revenge, it's just a classic tale, right? And um, I think I've always been drawn to those sort of epic tales. And I don't know if it's my time with Les Mis that sort of put that in me, but I've always just enjoyed the grand scale and the sort of operatic type of storytelling, and I think you know uh, his character can be a little bit dark and brooding at times, and I know I have that. That's my wheelhouse for sure. Even though I played Aladdin, which was not necessarily that type of role. But I started out as Marius was my Broadway debut, so I know they saw that in me early on. So I'm going to go back to being brooding and and planning out my revenge, plotting out my revenge, and interesting. I'm excited for it.
I love it. I mean, who doesn't love to play a little bit bad
Yeah,
sometimes?
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Well, according to press notes, because obviously I have not seen the show since it has not started yet,
Right.
Monte Cristo tells the epic story of a man wrongfully imprisoned who
Mhm.
returns richer, wiser, and bent on vengeance. So
Yes.
I just want to break these themes down a little bit.
Sure.
And we're going to start with richer. So, how do you feel a life in the arts has made your life richer than if you had chosen another career path?
Well, that's a great question. Right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's made my pockets richer, but definitely my soul and my heart. I feel richer and fuller and fulfilled as an artist. And whenever I'm able to do what I love with the storytelling and bring people together and focus on empathy and connection, I just think that's important, especially in these times. And being an artist, I feel it's a privilege to be able to do what I do. So I feel richer in that sense, and also in each chance I get to work with younger artists, I take that opportunity as well, and that makes me feel richer in in a way.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Do you actually find yourself mentoring any of the younger performers that you work with at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say mentoring necessarily, but a lot of sort of master classes, and or I would help out. A lot of schools are doing Aladdin Junior, for
Mhm.
example, and whether it's through cameos, just brief little videos I would send out, or maybe me actually going and spending a little time with some casts somewhere. I enjoy that, right? I enjoy sort of talking about theater and the benefits of it. And I always kind of look for those opportunities too.
Oh, that's great. That must be so exciting for them when they're rehearsing for Aladdin and oh my God, the original Aladdin from Broadway shows up.
Yeah, they're pretty excited for sure.
Yeah. And I know in our last interview, we had talked about like when you were in, like you mentioned, Les Mis was your Broadway debut,
Yeah.
and we talked about some advice that you got or some things you got from working with Norm, who was more seasoned at that point.
Hmm.
So do you have in working with some of these younger actors? What do you feel like you're showing them that somebody like Norm showed you?
Sure, sure. I mean, when I was in Tommy, I was surprised to learn that I might have been the oldest person in the cast at the time. And I was like, oh my God. All right, I guess I'm the veteran here. And yeah, people, they just naturally kind of look up to you as somebody who's been in the business. And I did become a little bit of a mentor, especially to some of the younger ensemble members. And I was very happy to offer my, experience and kind of, you know, give advice here and there. But, I definitely wasn't trying to put any ideas in people's heads in terms of how things need to be or have to be. I was it was an open door policy. My dressing room door was always open, and people can come in and whenever they wanted. But yeah, it's been interesting how that's definitely shifted from when I was first working with Norm as sort of the young, naive actor coming in, and then yeah, now I'm kind of playing the opposite. So it's interesting.
Yes, the tables do turn as we get
Yes,
older.
the turntable spins,
Yes,
right? The layman's
exactly.
turntable. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, getting back to Monte Cristo and the themes of the show, it also deals with that your character comes back after being imprisoned. Now your character is wiser. So,
Mhm.
what would you say is one lesson you have learned in your life or career that you feel has made you wiser because of that experience?
That's a good question. I think, sometimes you get the question like, if you could go back to your younger self and tell them some advice, what would you say? And I sometimes think not to be so I guess hell bent and stressed out about auditioning and obviously you want to do all the work, but like things are going to work out on their own time. So I would say patience, you know, patience and perseverance are key to this industry. And my dad used to say, the person 90% is showing up, right? So if you can just keep showing up and doing your work, and things will eventually work out. And that was sort of the way I ended up seeing things later on. But in the beginning, I was very impatient. I was like, I need to be here, I need to be, but I would just say, hey, let's slow and steady. All right, you're gonna get there.
It's probably easier to heed that advice now
Yeah, of
than when you were
course.
first starting out.
Yeah,
Yes.
when I graduated from NYU, I was like, here's my headshot and resume. I'm going to walk down Broadway and everyone's going to hire me. But that's just not how it works.
It should work that way.
It would be nice. It would be
Right?
nice. Yeah.
Well, your character in Monte Cristo also comes back bent on vengeance.
Hmm.
So, out of all the roles you have played, or you're about to play like Edmund,
Hmm.
which one do you feel was the most hell bent on getting repayment for their offenses?
That's a good one. I think I actually got to play the role of Zorro in Atlanta at the Alliance Theater, and that was the U.S. premiere of that show. And he definitely has some, some grievances with his brother that he sort of isn't revealed until the final fight when the mask is torn off, and I'm fencing for 5 minutes, and I had to learn how to use a rapier then, and I think I'm going to be doing that in this show as well a little bit. So it's kind of cool that I had that experience. But yeah, I think playing that role specifically, there's going to be a lot of that sort of laser focus on getting not necessarily revenge, but getting things right to where they need to be.
Yes,
Yeah,
as right as Edmund sees them.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
press notes also state that Edmund's carefully orchestrated plan unfolds, and he
Mhm.
must face the ultimate question: is justice enough without love?
Yes.
So I have to ask you, how has love enriched your life in a way you feel your life wouldn't be the same without it?
Oh, well, I mean, it's everything. Love is everything. It changes everything. And especially if you hold any sort of long-term grievances, they can help sort of ease those. And time heals everything, they say. And I think with love, that holds true as well, right? Any sort of things that you're working through, love can be the balm. It could be the panacea towards helping heal. Love heals, right? So you
Yes.
store hate in your heart for too long, it could destroy you.
Mm.
And so I think what this show is going to show, what's going to reveal, is that the power of love comes a sense of freedom, right? Freedom from those feelings of revenge and hate. And so that's what I'm interested to explore. I think that's the crux of this show, right?
Yeah.
How much is revenge? Can revenge win over love, or will love win over hate? And the more we can kind of play a tug of war with those ideas, I think it's going to be interesting for the audience.
Yes, and it seems quite fitting for the times that we're currently living in.
Of course,
The
of
struggle
course.
between love and hate and
Oh yeah,
revenge and
that's right. I mean, look at Bad Bunny's halftime show, right?
yes.
Love. It's all about love.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of love, we're going to continue with this part of the conversation. You are a dad, you have two twin boys,
Yeah.
and you've been married for over a decade.
Hmm.
So how do you decide at this point in your career? How do you decide what shows do you go after, and when do you decide whether to pass on a show because you want to be home with your family?
Right. So finding that balance with the work life and the family life, that's tough. And we were talking earlier about mentoring younger kids and try to find that personal life balance with your work life. And I feel like I've been fortunate to sort of been able to navigate that fairly well as I've gotten older. And yes, obviously I want to be with my family as much as I can. And so I seek out jobs that not necessarily are, year-long, long-term contracts. I've been doing a lot of concert work, which has been extremely fulfilling recently. And those are just, quick, either week-long international gigs or down in Epcot for a couple weeks. Like that's great. It's primo. I can take my family, we can enjoy the time. And so, getting back into the 8-show week is a different mindset. This contract with York Theaters isn't going to be super long, as I know that going in, as and it's definitely a factor when I decide what kind of work I want to do. During Tommy, I was flying home every Monday practically from Chicago to New York, back and forth on my days off, and it was exhausting, but it was just something I made a commitment. I was going to do that. I was going to be there for my family and my kids when I can. And so that's just the kind of guy I am, I guess. I kind of have to think about all sides of it and how I can best balance it out.
Have you had to pass on a show because for any like family to be more present with your family?
I've definitely passed on a lot of auditions for material for shows that require long-term separation. And then, occasionally I'll get an offer for something and I just, I'm saying, I'm sorry, I can't be away for that long. And they understand, they typically understand that I have my priorities with my family right now. And they're 12, they just turned 12, my boys. So, in 6 years, when they're out of the house, I might have more time to think about those kinds of jobs again. But for now, I want to try to soak up as much time with them as I can.
Well, I think it's great that you are showing not only them that you can do what you love and be present for your family, but all the other like up and coming actors and younger actors. You're showing them too that you can have your family life, you can have the work. You may not get to take or audition for every show you want, but you get to do the ones that work for you. And I'm sure your kids appreciated, and your wife, I'm sure they all appreciated you flying home every week during Tommy to be with them and get that time together. So I commend you for like showing the world what's possible.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I do have to switch gears for a moment because I cannot do an interview with you without asking some questions about Aladdin. What was the most challenging part about playing Aladdin, either on Broadway or on tour? Because you also did the national tour of Aladdin.
That's right. Yeah, I did the first national for about a year. And I think the most challenging part about Al, he has to switch a lot between there's a lot of elements with Al. He's got his sense of humor. He's got to tap dance in Friend Like Me, right? He's got to do a lot of physical parkour, jumping off buildings, and so I think carrying a show like that was hard, and just mentally, physically, and so there you kind of have to have a marathon athlete's sensibility in terms of how you're going to get through an 8-show week and also give the best that you have with what you have at that time. Right. So I think that was the hardest part, just sort of, managing all those things, because and the pressure of the iconicness. I don't know if that's a word, but
yes, it is.
Playing a role that is so iconic, I should say, that everybody knows and loves from a movie, and they have high expectations, right? So there's definitely the pressure. So dealing with that pressure on top of all the other physical, mental stuff, that was probably the hardest thing about the role. And but once you sort of figured it out, then you can kind of settle into the role and have more fun. But in the beginning, it was a lot.
How do you preserve your voice? I mean, especially like now going into Monte Cristo, it's still winter here in New York.
Yeah.
And the cold can do things to your voice. How do you, and you talk about doing like a marathons, how do you keep yourself fit for that 8-show a week and having to sing? And I mean, this show sounds like you're going to have some physicality in it as well.
Yeah, it's everything you do off stage that can help support what's happening on stage, right? So anything that's in your control, I start to become really kind of almost crazy in terms of like where my environment and trying to control, if there's an exhaust fan blowing on me at night. Like I remember on tour, I would take the ironing board from the closet and like try to balance it on a chair to block the vent so it wouldn't blow on me while I'm sleeping. Stuff like that. Those are the types of things that actors tend to do, right?
Mhm.
They're like, I'm trying to, avoid loud rooms or rooms with, motors and things going on, and so you don't have to shout over them. So all those little things, you just become sort of second nature, and you become kind of hyper aware, but hopefully don't drive you crazy. And so sleep, obviously, I think that's my superpower. My wife would say that I can kind of sleep through a lot of different things, and
I'm so jealous.
as long as I can rest, I can generally do what I need to do.
Well, my other question about Aladdin is what have you kept from Aladdin's personality, if anything, that you, Adam Jacobs, did not possess?
Probably his sort of sly sense of humor. I sort of honed that more, playing Aladdin, a little bit of that sarcasm and that kind of question, playing against authority figures, and because I definitely as a kid was not. I was too afraid, too shy to sort of push against the boundaries. I think Aladdin definitely helped me sort of. It's not like I'm going out shoplifting or anything, but helps me sort of see the world in another way.
And how long after you end a show or how long after a performance does it take you to decompress from the character? Like I've heard actors say
Yeah.
some of them live in the character for the whole run.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do that, I think, especially if it's you're playing a villainous, somebody murderer or something. Like, no, I would have to leave that at the stage door at the theater. Even when I played Marius, like the suffering that he goes through with his comrades all being killed, it was hard to sort of leave that survivor's guilt at the theater for a while, and I wouldn't get to sleep for hours after the show, and to come down to decompress, it's tough. It can be hard. So you try to find tricks and things that can help take your mind off of those things. Sometimes for me it's just playing chess on my phone, like that kind of thing. That's the sort of things that help kind of separate that.
And then how do you get into your character? So, whatever you did during the day, you have your day, your mind, you
Yeah.
have family things on your mind.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of all of those thoughts to focus on your
I feel
character?
like the stage door is like this magical, like hazmat area where you kind of go through it, and whatever's going on outside just kind of goes away. Even though biologically there could be some leftover stress and things from things that happened earlier in the day, in which case you can find ways to maybe use it on the stage in different ways. But I do find for myself, like it's sort of a magical portal that you walk through that stage door, and now you're in the land of make believe. You're in the land of storytelling, and you're gonna just transform.
Well, I do need to start wrapping things up.
Sure.
And I do like to try to end my interviews and podcasts playing off of of my show's title, which is Bearing It All with Call Me Adam. And I know I asked you this question back in 2021, but it has been 5 years. So if Adam Jacobs today were going to bear it all, what would you share with me that you have not talked about previously?
Oh my goodness. Uh that's a hard one. I don't know. I think it's life is not as glamorous as we like to think it is. I think, I don't know if I talked about it before, but when I was playing Aladdin, I was coming home and changing dirty diapers right after signing autographs, like the juxtaposition of those types of things, and being on the road and dealing with vents blowing on you, like and living out of a suitcase. Like it can be. I think the TV media image of showbiz is not all it's made up to be in real life. And the more that we can see that, but also take pleasure in the grind of it, and then hitting those floorboards, those creaky floorboards, and musty dressing rooms, and there's a charm to it too, right? So
Yes, definitely.
yeah, so like I think you find the beauty in seeing it another way. I think that's how I've always kind of found my path through this crazy business, and hope I can still find things to find the beauty, the silver lining, the little things that make everything interesting. Just keep that curiosity, right? That's the key.
Yes. Oh, yes. Curiosity is definitely something to help keep you going.
Yeah.
100%. And I think about what you said, like when you went from the stage to then going home to changing dirty diapers. I mean, I often forget how many actors on Broadway are parents and what they have to deal with. And it's like, here you
Yeah.
just went from entertaining hundreds to thousands of people, and then you come home and it's like, I don't know, you
Dishes got to be done. Yeah.
exactly.
Laundry's got. Yeah, of course. It's real
Exactly.
life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I feel the same thing after doing an interview. It's like I was just talking to, Adam Jacobs, and now I'm gonna close the camera lens and oh, I gotta go get ready for, whatever the next thing is. And it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But
How
it's
does
it's beautiful. It's
it
beautiful,
is
isn't it?
very fortunate. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time today. And I want to remind everybody listening and watching that you will get to see Adam Jacobs, Sierra Boggess, Norm Lewis, and an amazing cast in the world premiere of Monte Cristo at the York Theater. And performances start March 12th. It's a limited run. I will have ticket links at callmeadam.com. And Adam, it is always great to talk to you.
So great to talk to you, Adam.
Thank you. Adam squared once
That's
again.
it. That's us. That's
I
us.
love it.
He'll get the dirt and the scoop and the story, for he happens to be in the know. Just ask anybody who's had 'em. Adam lives for the business of show. Call me Adam.com.